Hello everybody, happy Friday night. Welcome to my Zen Den. I am so happy that you could take the time to join me tonight. My name is Mandy Van Havermet and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up from Great Eagle, Minnesota. I've got a really fun card layout for you today. I kind of came across this one and I was like, that's kind of interesting, but there's kind of a trick to it. So I figured it out and I want to share it with you. It's using just a little bit of DSP. So, well, here, let's just flip the camera around and let's get stamping. Hold on one second. You know I'm a sucker for simple cards that are just kind of got a little bit of a wow factor. So I think this one qualifies as that. And you can make it as tough as you want it to. You can put as much into it as you want to, or you can do it really simple. And so that's what I really like about card layouts like this. Let's get that cord out of the way. I don't want that popping in. Sorry if it wiggled. Okay, so this is kind of the card layout. And I thought, gosh, it's just neat. But I like that the piece of designer series paper is at an angle. I thought that added just a little bit of interest. And when it's directional paper, you really need to watch how you cut it. And so I figured out how to cut it to make that pattern stay correctly. So this one I used the Ladybug bundle. I can't remember where I pulled the sentiment from. It wasn't from the Ladybug, but I pulled a happy birthday sentiment from something else. And then I've got the textured background. That's from the online exclusive embossing folders. But I want to show you how to make this. So let's get to it. We're going to be using the Circle Sayings bundle for the stamping and the decoration. What am I trying to say? I don't know. We're going to be using the Circle Sayings bundle. Here's our little cheat sheet of what we're going to need. It's pretty simple. We're going to need a piece of basic white, and I'm using thick basic white, cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored down the middle at 4 1/4. And then I'm using a piece of Lemon Lolly. I think this is just a fun, this is one of the new colors. It's just a fun, happy, bright color. Can be for either boys or girls. And so this is kind of going to be kind of a jovial card. It's a happy card, just a happy card. So a piece of Lemon Lolly, 4 by 5 1/4, so a standard card panel. And then the magic comes with the DSP. And the DSP is cut at 3 by 4. Okay. I'm going to be using another one of the online exclusive embossing folders. This one's the dot. Here, let me show those to you. They come in a pack of 3. They are in stock right now. Really, really neat embossing folders. So here, let's put it on that Lemon Lolly. Maybe you'll see. It's got a nice dot one. This is the one I'll be using tonight. This one's kind of a flowered pattern. It's just neat. It's an intricate pattern. It's not too over the top. I like it. And then this is that hashed mark one. This is the one that I used on the Ladybug card. So they come in a pack of 3. They're $30. So they're standard $10 per embossing folder, but they're all really usable folders, and they're the 3D. So, okay, let's do our embossing first. So I'm going to put my, line it up, and I always like to use that line. There's a line on all of the Stampin' Up embossing folders. I always like to use that to get it straight. That's just me. And then I'm going to grab my plates for a cut and emboss, my cut and emboss machine. And this is a 3D embossing folder, so we're going to use the 3D instructions. So it's just plate number 1, the embossing folder, and plate number 4. So we'll set that in there, and then I'll run it through my cut and emboss machine. And so here we go. We've got our lovely dotted piece of Lemon Lolly. So we'll set that aside. And so now for this, the way that I get it to, I want this to run directly across. So I wanted to use this piece of paper specifically to show you how to do this, this technique. So you're going to line up your ruler and put a little tick mark, just a teeny tiny one, at 1 inch. Then you're going to flip it over 180 degrees and do the same thing. Put a tick mark right at 1 inch. Okay, so I've got a tick mark here and a tick mark here. I'm going to pull in my trimmer and I'm going to line up my tick mark my top tick mark, and I'm going to line up the corner of the top corner of my paper. Okay, so I've cut off just that much. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing down here. So I'm going to put my tick mark right in the well, in the groove there, and I'm going to line up my corner right here, also right in the center of that. And there we go. So that's how, when I put this on here, it's going to be straight, but it's going to be at an angle. Isn't that fun? I thought that was just the neatest thing. Different. Sometimes you look at things and you're like, oh, how do I do it? That's how you do that one. So easy, so fun. So I'm going to grab a scrap of basic white. And let's see here. The Circle Sayings, this is a really cool stamp set because you can change the colors. We're going to add some things together. So I'm going to use the Celebrate, and I'm going to use the Cupcake inside there, and then we'll put Happy Birthday on the inside. So we're going to be using 3 of those stamps. So let's grab the Celebrate and the Cupcake and Happy Birthday. And the paper that I'm using is from the paper that goes with this suite also. My brain is not remembering it right now, the name of it. But, oh, here it is. It's bright and beautiful. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. Imagine that. Okay, so let's grab some, let's grab Azure Afternoon. And let's grab Berry Burst. Sorry for my reaching. You would have thought I would have grabbed that. And then I'll use the Azure on the inside too. Okay. So let's start. I'm going to grab I probably could get away without using my Stampin' Pierce mat, but we're not going to chance it. So we've got Azure Afternoon and we've got Berry Burst. Some nice, bright, happy colors. So let's stamp this Celebrate. Straight down, straight up. So much fun. And now we're going to put this yummy cupcake right on the inside. I love it when you can combine one image with 2 different colors. I think that is just so fun. So now this is the punch that goes with the stamp set. And I love punches, right? So let's frost our cake. I'm going to grab, let's see here. I'm going to grab Bubble Bath and let's make it a chocolate cupcake. One of the skin tones, let's see, this is Skin Tone SU100. And I'm going to leave the marker or the cupcake holder kind of a white color. So we're just going to lightly color this quick. I'm going to take my, oh, that adds a lot. Because chocolate cupcakes are delicious cupcakes. Just saying. All right, so there we go. Isn't that cute? I love it. And then while I've got my inks open, let's do the Azure Afternoon Happy Birthday right inside. And why not put another cupcake right down there. Beautiful. And let's build our card. Close those up so we don't make an accident. Now I'm going to adhere this before I adhere the lemon lolly down. And the reason why is if I need to trim for any reason, like if I've goofed up my measurements at all, that way I still can do that. So I'm going to use glue because my this embossing folder is a little bit aggressive. It's pretty deep. I just want to make sure that it sticks, and the glue will help with that. Now, if you weren't using a directional piece of designer series paper, say it was just patterned with polka dots or something, you could absolutely just take a longer strip and put it across and then trim also. But when you're using directional paper, you want that directional paper to be the right direction, right? So here's where if you wanted to, if you needed to, you could trim that off. I don't feel like I need to do that. I think it's just perfect the way that it is. If you wanted to add ribbon or anything like that, you totally could do that too. And I'm going to skip that. I'm not going to. Totally could though. You could, like I said, you can make this as fancy as you wanted to, or as simple as you wanted to. If you don't have embossing folders, if you don't like embossing, don't emboss. There's no rules. Make it yours. Make it what you want to make it. And I've got some other samples here too, of some different designs that I've done. So I like that. And now I'm just going to stick that right on there. You know what? I'm going to try something. I'm going to grab a smaller punch. I have, that's 2 3/8. Or I've got 2 1/4. Here's a 2 1/4. I've got a 2 1/4 inch punch from back in the day. I'm going to grab a piece of sticky note, and I'm going to trim this up, and I'm going to show you how I do that. Because if I wanted to use a punch to trim this, I couldn't get it in there, right? It's just not going to work. It'd be really tough. But I decided I want to trim it just a little bit smaller. Because, you know, I like doing things a little tough. So I'm going to put that sticky note on there, and I'm going to be able to line that up and move it. It was catching. If you've ever got too small of a piece of paper to go in your punch, use a sticky note. It'll trim off just the perfect amount. Okay, so now let's grab that 2 3/8 punch, and I'm going to I took that off. Wouldn't have had to, but I did. I'm going to take a piece of Azure Afternoon, and I'm going to grab that 2 3/8 punch. I didn't like the white on white. It was too much white for me. There. That makes me so much happier. All right. That is just a little bit, stands out a little bit more, right? Let's grab some dimensionals. And I'm actually going to set it down just a little bit, like that. Just make sure my cupcake's straight. There we go. All right, so there's our card, and here are the instructions, or the sizes and dimensions for you. And I've got a couple of other ones that I made. I've showed you the ladybug already. So same premise. I used the gingham paper for that, and that is Lemon Lime Twist, and that's white on white. I really like the look of white on white. I think it's just classic, and it's just pretty. I like it. This one I used, let's see here, the Irresistible Blooms stamp set and the cane weave die. Same deal. I've got my paper is exactly straight. I made sure I used a paper that was directional so that you could see that I made it exactly straight. And then this one here, same thing. I used the metal plate embossing folder, and this sentiment and die is from the He's All That bundle. So those are my cards for tonight. I hope you like them. I love that layout. I think that is so fun, and it's, like I said, it's fancy enough that people are going to say, oh, that is so cool. But it's pretty simple. So let's flip the camera around and say goodbye. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Thank you so very much for watching. If you're catching the replay on YouTube, if you could leave me a thumbs up, that would be great. That helps me bring you more YouTube videos. Otherwise, I will talk to you again next Friday night. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.